Hi folks, and welcome to From Amateur to Expert, where we talk about work, wealth, and how to position yourself as an expert. We've had quite a few new subscribers over the past few days. If you have just joined, great pleasure to have you with us. My name is Douglas Kruger. My task is to stick a finger in your brain and stir up your thinking in uncomfortable but profitable ways. Folks, welcome to a new series, which is based on my new book for 2021, How to Grow Rich, 50 Ways to Debunk Money Myths and Master Wealth. What we're going to do over the course of the next few videos, and they do link together, but you can watch them non-consecutively, is we're going to talk about the composite qualities of a wealthy person. This composite picture comes to us from my several books on wealth, like Poverty Proof and Is Your Thinking Keeping You Poor, my own observations from growing my own business and brand, and from information from Forbes magazine, Inc. magazine, the Sydney Morning Herald, and several other aggregated sources of the kinds of traits and qualities, behavioral qualities, that set the rich apart. Well worth remembering that even today, in this day and age, and despite lockdowns and COVID, that the vast majority of the world's millionaires and billionaires are first-generation business owners. They are not inheritors of wealth, and even corrupt politicians form a very small segment of the world's wealthy. By far, the most assured and the most effective path to becoming a millionaire or a billionaire is to be a business owner, and most people do it first generation. Another interesting stat out of that one, of those people, most come from the middle or lower class bracket and not from a privileged background. So, over the course of the next few inserts, we are going to talk about each one of those composites. Here is what we might call the master key principle to all of them. Can you zag when others zig? Consider the statement, rich isn't normal. Rich, by its very definition, the understanding of what the semantic content of that word actually means, is aberrant. It is unusual. Certainly more people are becoming wealthy over time, and the global standard of prosperity and material well-being is rising on every continent, with some notable exceptions where there is not freedom or rule of law. We'll get to those as well. But all around the world, this is growing. However, being really rich, outstandingly, noticeably, conspicuously wealthy, is an unusual thing. So, that entails that you are going to have to do things that look strange to the people around you. You're going to have to be the sort of person who can act in ways that most people wouldn't act in and most people wouldn't understand. Do you have the courage to zag when others zig? Now I'm going to sneak up on you here, and I'm going to ask you to make a commitment without knowing what you are committing to. Goes like this. I want you to internally answer that question. Will I commit to these principles in advance before you know what the traits are? The reason that I say that is many of the traits strike people as a little scary. It's things like you have to raise your confidence levels, you have to do things that others don't expect, you have to act in ways that others might question or criticize, and we'll get into all of it. But before you know what those things are in explicit detail, and before you have the chance for them to scare you a little, will you commit to being the kind of person who will zag when others zig? If you'll make that commitment in advance, we can work together. Now here's my promise to you. I'm not going to try to scare you with each of these qualities or traits in turn. There will be some 10 to 15 of them. You don't have to have all of them in advance. In fact, if you hear the list of these traits and you find them a little intimidating, a little off-putting, a little scary, then you are normal. You are a normal human being. I am going to do my best to break them down for you in ways that take the fear out of it. I'll give you a quick example, just a hint at one of them. One of the greatest qualities of the rich is that they have more push than just about anyone else. They will do things in strategic and clever ways, yes, but mostly they have that ongoing tenacity, that push. Now that already puts off a lot of people who think, I'm not a pushy salesman, I'm not a hard-driving boss. All right, consider. Ed Sheeran is one of the wealthiest and most successful artists in the world. And he is not a hard-driving salesman. He's not a cigar-chomping CEO. But there's video footage of him from an early age out in London, out in the UK, busking, singing, pushing. That's what we're after. So, I will break down for you why each of these qualities does not have to be contrary to your nature and does not have to make you a bad person. You can do these things, you can be these things, and still go to heaven. But I want you to make that commitment in advance. I want you to tell yourself, yes, I agree in principle that I can live differently, that I have the courage to embark on this project. And I'll find out how as I go along. Open the door, step out into the mist, walk boldly. I will show you the way as we go. But I need you to start walking. My name is Douglas Kruger. It's a great pleasure to have you with me on the channel From Amateur to Expert. Please do share these tips. We have a vested interest in making people around us prosperous. The more our societies prosper, the more free trade works, and the more we lift people out of poverty. The more people around you prosper, the better for everyone. So please do share these videos, and in particular, if you know a struggling entrepreneur, someone who's trying to build a brand, someone who's trying to build their wealth, a young person who is struggling with ideas of how to approach their life in prosperous ways. Folks, please put them onto this information. I share ideas that I wish someone had shared with me in my late teens and early 20s. I'm Douglas Kruger. This is From Amateur to Expert.